Welcome back to our weekly Universal Studios Hollywood construction update. Today we have plenty of awesome updates for you regarding the security projects and new markers, coaster trains on site for Fast and Furious, and a whole bunch more. So let's go ahead and start off with security. Over here at iFly, just being used as a staging site right now. Lots of pallets and new fencing has gone up, but nothing concrete is like actually happening, at least with the placing of the payments or anything. But everything is fenced off, which is pretty interesting. That fence is new, so I'm curious if maybe we'll see some permits filed or some ground up construction or something to happen for these security hubs, which is very interesting. And also, Escapeology over here has an opening date. It is officially open as of today. Escapeology is now open, and it has prices of $59, or sorry, $50 for adults and $49 for children. You can make a reservation online at escapeology.com, so that's pretty cool. I'll go and check that out on the next update because it when I was there it was not open yet. So go check that out. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. I wanted to check up on the Cary Shortage parking lot there to see the pathway that is being built for the new security hubs. Nothing has changed here. I looked for markers on the ground, nothing there, but we'll keep checking every couple of weeks just in case something does happen. Still working on the bathrooms in this area as well. This is by the AMC. These again will be the new bathrooms since by the time the security hubs open, you won't be able to access the bathrooms in the parking structure. So these are the new bathrooms. And yeah, not much change over there with these. We're going to be going to Woody Woodpecker twice in this update. So here's the first update. See, they're digging lots of trenches there. Looks like they're carving like pathways or for utilities, but a lot of work going on here. And the mountain keeps getting bigger and bigger, it seems. But also areas keep getting more and more defined each week. And there's even some rebar on site, another part of the site, which is pretty exciting. And they were testing, as I said in the last update, they're testing new security procedures for this area during not last weekend, but a couple of weekends ago during FanFest night. So I think they're getting closer. If they're starting to test the procedures out, this one might be the first one to open, and they might be getting close in just a few months. Over at the Parisian Courtyard, Halloween Horror Nights continues to rise with wood installed here at the rumored Monstrose 3 maze. That's what people are on the streets are saying, which makes sense. You had Monstrose and then Monstrose 2, and the Monstrose mazes have been a big hit, so Monstrose 3 would make sense. But not sure what this is until Universal officially announces it, but it looks pretty great. We'll keep an eye on it every single week. Over at the Fast and Furious Coaster, trains have been installed in the maintenance bay. The maintenance bay is covered up, but photo credits to everyone rides together. But my goodness, they found some train installation happening. It usually happens towards the end of the day, like 5 or 6 o'clock. So if you're there at the park at 5 or 6 o'clock, look on the Starway because there might be some train cars being installed. So it's pretty awesome. There's about 4 train cars installed. It's probably about one train. Not sure. There's rumored to be as 8 trains, so we're not really sure. You know, what's there and what's not there, but we first sure know at least 2 cars have been installed, which is or 4 cars have been installed, which is freaking awesome. Yeah, this past weekend was very hot, so it's like the hottest weekend of the year. So this water park was in great use. Remember last weekend I was like, oh my gosh, no one's gonna use this. It's cold. Now it's really hot, so it was in great use. Glad to see the parents and kiddos using it because yeah, it was. I was in the park very shortly this day. As far as a shorter update, because it was getting kind of hot already at 10 or 11 in the morning. Back to Fast and Furious. Yeah, not much has changed like that we can see. A lot of stuff has actually changed though because they're doing electrical work and a whole bunch of small activities, small things. So not much has actually changed like for the visible naked eye, but they're working on like some electrical for the drive tires and launch fins, which you'll see here, and working on the station. There's even some spots in the station that have like openings like for signage and stuff. So I can't wait to see the signage installed. But yeah, catwalks have been installed all the way up there, but also on the other side as well. Remember last update, the other side was not installed, and they even installed catwalks on the return launch before you get up to the stall. So again, a lot of small stuff has been installed, with the largest being the catwalks and a lot of electrical, and even though small electrical buildings have been installed and finished. So yeah, they're making great progress. We just can't really see it since the major part of it, the track, is done. So I'm very excited. They're supposed to do a pull through test potentially this month according to the community website, so I'll be watching for that. um over the next few weeks here. And then, of course, the sound walls and scream shields will be the next largest visible items to be installed. And then we'll be ready to ride. Over on the lower lot, you have Revenge of the Mummy and the rumored Scarecrow house. This does look like the Scarecrow facade from 2022, so I'm very excited if that maze does return. Mummy has no facade just yet because there's tons of construction, and there's actually some more interesting news on this construction than I thought about here on the hillside. And this was a new permit that was filed today, actually, so I'm glad I did this update because a new permit has been filed for phase 2 of the Mummy Wall project. That's right, phase 2. Now, I'm not sure what this phase 2 is because I don't know. The original permit for this area said grading of the hillside and protected trees by Mummy. That's all it said. Now this is phase 2 of the Mummy Wall project. Maybe this is construction of the actual wall itself. Maybe they can't, you know, do the actual retaining wall until this permit has been filed or and processed. I'm not too sure, but we'll be watching this very closely because it was filed and finished today. It was filed. Just kidding. Today, uh, May 12th. Phase 2 of the project. But remember, on the community line and also on the email to the team members, they said this project originally would be through March 2025. Got delayed a few months because of permits, but I thought it would be done by May 30th, by the end of this month. But it seems like there's some sort of phase 2. So I'll be watching this very, very closely over the next several months. Now we are back to the Woody Woodpecker parking lot. This is when I was coming home. That's why there are two separate sections here. But look, this is now on the other side of where my car was. And look, there's that pathway that's still under construction. But look at that. Look at that right there. Wow. I don't know if that's the formations of like a ADA access wheelchair ramp because it doesn't look like utilities. It looks like much wider than the other holes for utilities and trenches for utilities. So I'm thinking like maybe an ADA access ramp or just a path in general. We still don't know any renderings or what this is gonna look like, this particular section here. So I don't know what this could be for or what this will be. If it'll be a new pathway or it'll be covered up. But very exciting seeing more defined areas coming to the central security hub because again, it means we're maybe nearing the finish line. And lastly, this is what I found. I was loaded by Mondo who sent me these pictures, or not these pictures, but pictures before. So I went to FanFest Nights, and when I came out of FanFest Nights, this is in the Frankenstein parking garage, and look at these markers. So we have white means excavation. And these orange boxes, they mean something. ChatGPT actually explained all these colors perfectly to me. But yeah, these are in the parking garage, 7th level of the Frankenstein parking structure, where the Uber and Lyft rideshare areas are. And this is very interesting because this kind of ties in, according to ChatGPT, ties into early site prep or early work for the third security hub and the hotel project, which I still have a nice theory that those will be coincided together, like they'll be built together, because that's the only one that has not started yet, and they're kind of intertwined with each other, I think, and that's why I think it's one big project for the hotel and the third security hub. So with these markings in the Frankenstein structure, where a third security hub will be located next to. Very, very good sign that in the coming weeks, hopefully some work will begin, or in the coming months, for the hotel as well as this third security hub. So be watching this every couple of weeks. I'm going to walk over there, see if there's any other markers or if the markers spread to like the fountain area or the roundabout area. Um, very, very curious to see what that is all about and when construction may begin for this third security hub and maybe even the hotel. So that is our update for today. It was quite a jam-packed update. Lots of, again, shorter on the time side. Oh wow, voice crack, but shorter on the time side, but lots of jam-packed details, which is pretty awesome. Very, very curious to see what's going on in phase 2 of the Mummy Wall, these new markings in Frankenstein, and of course, train testing, pull-through testing on the Fast and Furious coaster. What are you most looking forward to at Universal Studios Hollywood? What project excites you the most? I'll be covering all of them. Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe and become a member if you want to help support the channel and get early access to videos just like these. And as always, have an epic day.